am not good in writing speeches. I'm not good, I don't do speeches too often, but I'm gonna try to tell you what I know about Guido. I met Guido in 1967 when I immigrated to Canada, and the Canadian government sent me to Brandon, Manitoba. So did for Guido. I guess those days nobody wanted to go to Manitoba. And
even now.
I didn't even know where Brandon, Manitoba was, where Brandon was, so I didn't even know Manitoba existed. But anyway, I met Guido one day. There were not too many Italian families in Brandon. There were a couple of families. And I ended up in the first few days arrived, or maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I stayed with a Sicilian family. And Guido came there to fix the guy's fridge. So I met Guido. And the funny thing is that Guido is from North Italy, and I am from South Italy. Like, we call the people in North Italy polentoni, which means people that eat polenta all day long. And the people from where Guido comes, from the north, they called us terroni, which means guys, people that work with soil all the time. So we're not supposed to get along, but anyway, it didn't take long that Guido and I, we became good friends, and we spent a lot of time together. And as a matter of fact, the last year we were in Brandon, we rented an apartment together. We decided, what the heck, you know, he didn't like where he was living, I didn't like where I was living. So we rented an apartment, and we stayed, we lived, you know. And so one day I was not feeling too good. I guess I was born by the ocean, by the sea, about 200 yards, and I was not feeling good. So I decided, I heard that Vancouver things were better, and people made more money, the weather was better, there was no 50 below zero temperature. And I told Guido, I think I'm moving to Vancouver. And he looked at me, he says, you know what? I think I'm moving to Vancouver. So anyway, a couple of weeks later, after we finished, he had, originally Guido, he worked for Pioneer Electric. They built kitchens, appliance, and he didn't like that, so he went into a restaurant business, and he wasn't getting along with his partner. The guy was very difficult, so he was happy to hear I was moving, so we loaded everything into my car and we moved to Vancouver. And so we both got a job after a couple of days. I got a job, he got a job, and he got a job with Hobart, fixing. He got his own truck. After a day or two he was there, they gave him a truck and he went fixing appliances all over Vancouver. And one day he went to the Gypsat. The Gypsat is the sailing club in Vancouver. And they had a big restaurant, so he went and fixed their dishwasher. And next thing I know, he talked them into letting him go and fix their appliance. In exchange, he would go there and learn to use the sailboats. And so that's what happened. Guido started to, sailing. I went together many times, we went sailing. And then one day he says, hey, I find a family, a couple that they just built a trimaran. And prior to that, he did a lot of studying. He studied navigation. He got pretty good with with sailing. And in Guido, you know, when you live with the person, you don't realize what they do. Guido could do anything. He could fix anything. But you get used to it. You don't realize that, what a person is capable of doing. And that was Guido. So anyway, next thing I know, came the time he left for the Galapagos with this couple. Him, another guy, and the owners. It was a couple, middle-aged couple. And I remember the day he left, I was very upset. And he said, you look a little bit upset. I said, you know, I actually am very happy for you. I said, but I'm a little bit concerned. He says, what is it? I said, you don't even know how to swim. He says, Donato, it doesn't matter if you can swim or not. If you fell overboard, it doesn't matter. So he left it at that. And in my way, I understood he was going to try his best not to fall overboard and come back. Anyway, after, I think it was 3 years or 4 years, he was all over the place. And one thing, I asked him if he would get some coins, because one of my stepsons, he had a collection. He did a coin collection. And Guido, every country he went, he sent coins for my stepson. And he ended up with a big collection because of it. He never missed one place. Anyway, so after Guido, he did his trip and things like that. He was in Hawaii. I went to see him in Hawaii. I say, so are you going to fly back with me? What's the scoop? He says, no, I think I realized he wanted to sail back. He didn't want to fly. So he found a lady that owned this big sailboat, and she asked him to skip it, so he did. And he said he was halfway through the trip. He didn't realize this lady was from Japan. She didn't have a clue. But she was using the water from the boat to wash the bridge and things like that. And they ran out of water. He didn't realize that she was doing that. But anyway, he said that they fortunately it rained, so they cut the water with sails, and they managed to get enough water to get to Vancouver. Now, when he got to Vancouver, I said, Guido, so you're going to build your own boat now? He said, no, I don't think so. So what are you going to do? He says, you know, I wouldn't mind meeting somebody and maybe kind of settle down a little bit. And I thought about it. I said, you know what? I think I know a lady that you could meet. She's got a couple of kids, but she's from a good family, hardworking. She's a nurse. I said, you like to meet her? And he said, yeah. So I introduced Guido to Sharon. And I was a little bit concerned, but it sure as hell worked out well. And I am glad I did. And anyway, Guido was really a special person. One day I asked him, why you never swear? I said, I get upset and frustrated and I let it rip. Why you never do that? He says, I don't believe in it. He says, it doesn't do me any good, so I don't. But Guido, he never flew off the handle, or he was really a nice person. And he was more like a brother to me than, and I felt safe that he was around in my life, because he always, I could count on asking his opinion, and his opinion was good all the time. So Anyway, that's all I have to say about Guido. I'm going to miss him a lot, but I am a lucky man that I met him and I spent so much time of my life with him. Thank you.